Welcome to the show, everybody. We are back, and Happy New Year to all. This is the I Am Real Estate Show with Ray Smith, Sandra Johnson, and Danielle Johnson. On the show today, we have Don Geisler from Indy Realty, who is our designated broker. How you doing today, Don?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me here.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, just let's get it all out the way so I don't hear about it anymore most of the time. So, we just had the Arizona Bowl that just happened December 30th. And I thought we'd talk a little bit about that, Don. And you went to the game. Well, tell us what you thought so far.
Well, let's not just say he went to the game. He brought the office to the game.
Okay, I apologize.
And so thank you for the support of the Arizona Bowl.
Oh, certainly. It was absolutely my pleasure. So we, as Indy Realty, we had a couple of rows down there, and we were right in the front row. And
yeah,
I just have to tell you, it was an amazing experience. And, you guys are instrumental in helping operate the Arizona Bowl. And I just attended as an attendee with some friends of mine. And from beginning to end, I just got to tell you, is very, very Tucson-oriented, Tucson community. So many people were there and just happy to be there and having a great time. And my perception was that everything from the parking to getting in to the concessions to the game to the entertainment, the field, everything was just an A+++. I mean, it was a wonderful experience.
Did you guys take time to go to the tailgate?
We did not. We were my usual state of being, running around with my hair on fire, trying to get in before kickoff. So, but I did talk to some folks who were at the tailgate part of it, and they said that too was just an absolutely awesome experience. It was all but flawless. People had a great time. The weather was perfect. Congratulations to you guys on just can't say enough when I say A+. If there was a better term, I would give it.
We had such a good time. We work all year long, so there's about 90 volunteers that work together to put the bowl on. And I'll tell you, back to the fact that we're a real estate show, why are we talking about the Arizona Bowl? It showcases Tucson so well.
Sure does.
We had over 30,000 people in attendance, and out of 41 bowl games, some of those are playoff games, we were ranked number 7. And that's awesome. Something that Tucson should be proud of. And I'll tell you the feedback that we were getting. I had the opportunity to kind of go out in the stands and just talk to people and thank them for coming to Tucson and ask them how their experience has been. And they were so appreciative and said they love coming here. Not only do we have fabulous weather, which I was sweating that out when we had that rain. Not only do we have fabulous weather, but the hospitality here. And there was even an article that I had read online that Toledo had trouble getting out of town. And so a lot of people pulled together and accommodated them because they had to stay an extra night. The team had to stay. Wow. And so they were just speaking so highly of the after bowl services that they received from our community. And so I think Tucson has a lot to be proud of.
Well, I would say coming in ranking number 7 from all the national bowls, it's pretty unbelievable. And when I was sitting there that day, and it was a fantastic game, and I was kind of like, where else would anybody want to be? If you live in Tucson today, because it was just going on. There was a ton of energy, and the setting was perfect, and we just happened to get treated to a game that came down to the last play, and so much excitement in the stands, and
and if you're not aware, 100% of the net proceeds from the game are going to come back to Tucson charities.
Yes,
and so that is such a huge piece of what we do as well, and we had several charities on the field at halftime represented there, and I think it's just a wonderful thing for our city. And so again, we appreciate Indy Realty being there.
Yes, we really do appreciate it.
Bringing the group that you brought to come and enjoy it. Well, you had guests that were from out of town though too, didn't you?
Our guests were from in town, but they had friends that were from out of town that were literally from Toledo, and so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but so we were wearing the blue and gold and not the brown and gold that particular day just to support our friends. But we were not super invested in who won. We were just thrilled for all of the young people that were playing in the game and enjoying themselves, and it's just a riot. And so for anybody listening, get the Arizona Bowl on your calendar, on your radar, because it'll happen again this next year. December 30th. There you go. And it's just such a Tucson-centric event. It's something to really be proud of.
It is, and we were so tired we didn't even go to the taco drop. But the taco drop is just another. Okay, I'm not supposed to say that out loud. We were exhausted. Let me tell you what. We slept for 2 days.
In between the taco drop.
but again, we just heard great things about it, and it's not just a single event. It is a week-long celebration, and just
Pachanga.
shows Tucson off. So that was a really wonderful bowl for us. We were so excited.
I like to echo what Sandra said about meeting the patrons at the game and the fans at the game.
Mm-hmm.
I walked around the field, and in almost every area I stepped in, shook as many hands as I can to tell them thank you. And she's right. They were so appreciative of just being in Tucson. And everyone said how great we as a city, how great we hosted them. So it's not just the Arizona Bowl. It's everyone that's out there who just, when these guys met you and they talked to you and they talked a little bit about where they're coming from, the way you treated them, they all remembered and recognized that Tucson is a friendly place to be. And they all wanted to come back. They all can't wait to come back again and be a part of the Arizona Bowl.
Yeah, and they all live in cold places, let's say. We are pretty attractive right here.
Yeah, so. We are certainly not knocking Ohio or Wyoming, but, I mean, what a great place to land in a bowl game if that's where you live, and come experience some desert winter weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's good for Tucson is good for real estate.
Yeah, and that's one thing we always try to mention is that if the community is doing well and people who are outside this community come into our town and see downtown Tucson and see the Arizona Bowl and hear about the kindness that we exude all the time when you come down to visit, it makes our community and our city a great place to want to come and visit and maybe come and live. And when you come in to live here, we hope that you're thinking of the I Am Real Estate show. You catch it on your Saturday as you're looking for homes. And then you find out you got some great realtors at the I Am. I'm going to say I Am. At the
Realty.
At Indy Realty. When you have one of the best designated brokers, Don Geisler, who is also the owner of the company.
I certainly appreciate that. And you guys do your part. And,
full circle. See that?
It is. I like that.
I'm doing like this. Full circle. Wow. That man is amazing.
Yeah. We've got Gem Show right around the corner, too, which will bring a lot of visitors into town. A lot of people from all over that will be kind of getting an introduction to our beautiful city. And who knows, there may be some people out there that are thinking about making a move here.
Well, if they do, we got them covered. I know that.
Yeah, you can come to Grace. That was me talking, everyone, in case you didn't know. I speak 3 languages.
At once.
He makes them up as he goes.
You're listening to the I Am Real Estate show with Sandra, Ray, and Danielle. We're here with Don Geisler, who is the designated broker for Indy Realty and also the owner of Indy Realty. We're here to maybe you need some help to enter the market to buy or sell a home. If you do, please pick the Johnson Smith team. We can be reached at 520-904-7711.
520-850-1725.
520-373-6864.
All right, we're back to the show with Don Geisler, who is the designated broker for Indy Realty, and he is also the owner of Indy Realty.
Now, we were going to talk a little bit about what your thoughts are on 2024 as we're entering a new year, and I have heard so many people say that they are excited about 2024 and kind of excited about closing the chapter on 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts for real estate?
I am very up on 2024. We've been looking forward to it. I think early in 2023, when there was so much instability in inflation and in interest rates, and we did see the blip and the impact on the real estate market. And so, the good news, that the high level good news going in is that interest rates have stabilized, and that most experts are predicting that they are going to come down further, and they're in a pretty decent spot right now. So we have lost a lot of the volatility, and there's the there's the on-the-spot snapshot, what happens when an interest rate is at a particular level,
Right.
whether it's a good deal for a buyer or not. But there's also a lot of the peripheral stuff, how the market gets affected by people's, their confidence,
Mhm.
how they feel what's going on in the world. And real estate is a very kind of momentum business depending on how people are feeling. So everybody's very, very excited about 2024. But one of the things that I caution people is to don't put yourself in a position where when things happen and they are not exactly what you expect,
Mhm.
just don't let it suck all the wind out of your
Yes. Yeah.
out of your sails, because the wars that we have seen, and the inflation and the stuff that's going on, it was kind of unexpected in some ways. In some ways it wasn't. But I just encourage everybody to keep their eyes on their own particular prize, run their own race, and not be too absorbed in all the noise going on out there, because there's bound to be a lot of noise this coming year too.
Yeah, I was thinking that it seemed like we're at the calm after the storm. It seemed like it was really, like I said, it was very volatile, but things seem to be evening now, even keel. And what I wanted to remind everybody is that we talked about this last year. We had a couple shows. We had John Spurrier, our lender, and he was talking about the fact is that you had a chance to do in 2023 in January to get started, and we talked about December. Hey, here's what you could have done. I'm trying to tell you now, we don't want to be in December of 2024 saying, hey guys, this is what you could have done in December or January 24. We want guys, if you think this is the time to do it. Go ahead and take that step and step forward. We have great tools. We have great realtors and indie realtor that can help you find those solutions for those problems you have to have. But first thing you have to do, you have to go out there and take that step. And don't be afraid to take that step.
Well, we definitely do. And there are lots of good opportunities. And,
Uh-huh.
and I like that, conversation about, don't be sitting here at the end of this year saying, I could have, I should have, I would have, like you might have done last year. Because if it's kind of like people that are planning a family or stuff like that, like there's never the perfect time. Like there's never a perfect time to do stuff. Whether from the small stuff like take a vacation up to buying a house to planning a family, like there's never something perfect. And if you just keep on waiting and waiting and waiting for perfection, it is never going to happen.
Right.
And there are going to be bumps in the road in 2024. So 2024 is an election year. We used to, in real estate, say, hey, this is from a business standpoint, from a real estate professional standpoint, we used to say an election year is a 9-month year. And you got to get all your stuff buttoned up, before the last quarter, because the whole world's going to be distracted, by what's going on. The distraction is worse than it's ever been.
Right.
But what we have seen is that people have been able to still focus on achieving their goals, get things done. We will certainly still be here.
Right.
And, the mid-cycle elections have become just as contentious and take over the news just as much. So it's not just a 4-year thing anymore. So it's kind of reality. Like it's kind of our day-to-day reality. So I just really encourage people to focus on achieving your own goals and talk to us about helping you achieve those goals. And it's probably a mistake to sit around and wait for everything to be perfect, because nothing's ever going to be perfect.
I
Yeah,
think that's part of it too, is that if you're sitting around, you don't know what's coming. I mean, we just went through a lot of things in the last couple of years. And I mean, I'm thinking back to COVID and, how the mentality was of people during COVID. And then as we're getting over that, we're getting through it and kind of wondering what's coming next. Well, none of us know. But if you don't ask the questions, you'll never know what your situation is either. If you don't ask the questions about maybe the neighborhoods, the markets, the places that you want to know about, if you don't ask the question, you'll never know either. And so it kind of just sits there as, oh, well, maybe I could do it, or maybe I should do it, or, you start wondering those things. But the really good first step is to call and just to say, hey, I don't know if I'm doing this right now, but can we just talk about it and get some of those questions out so that you can start to answer them, and then you don't have the unknowns hanging over your head the same way.
Right. We're here with Don Geisler, the CEO of Indie Realty, also the designated broker of Indie Realty. Listen, we're the Johnson Smith team also here. We are a part of Indie Realty. As we talk about Indie Realty and how we're moving forward to help the clients, what is the first thing we would go and tell them when they knock on our door, come to our door at 7255 East Tango Verde?
Well, I would kind of just repeat what we just said, that there
Yeah.
is a lot of opportunity out there, but the real estate market it's localized from a geographic standpoint, and it's also very localized from a what are your goals standpoint. And, when Danielle was speaking, I was thinking, the home ownership is still the American dream. Home ownership is still that thing that all of us should be driving for and should be proud of. And there is so much that goes into when you own your own home and you feel like you're not under the thumb of somebody else. And it is an amazing feeling. And so we are very proud to be part of that industry. And what I would tell those people would be a bunch of questions is what I would say. Like, what are your goals, short-term goals for real estate? What are your long-term goals? What do you want to accomplish? And then we can help them generate a strategy and a plan to get there. And to also, piggyback on something that Danielle said, what we do know is today what we have.
Right.
We know what we have today. We do not know ever what tomorrow, the very next day, is going to bring. We just don't. But we know what rates are today. And stop waiting, because what's going to happen? I mean, if you buy today and in a couple months rates go down, you can refinance. If you buy today and in a couple months rates go up, good for you. You bought when they were down.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
it's a win-win situation no matter what.
And no one's really talking about the price of housing coming down in this
No.
market. There, maybe a little more realistic growth than what it has been, but nobody's really talking like there's going to be a fire sale on houses. It's just not happening. And we know that rents have gone up over the last several years and have continued to go up. And the application process, even to get into a rental, has become extremely competitive. So
It's true.
there,
John did say that, didn't he? I forgot he said
Yeah.
the competition for getting into rentals is almost as difficult as trying to get a mortgage or
Yeah.
trying to get a lend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the amount of
I
money
saw
you
a
need to get
lease,
down.
Yeah.
a lease agreement that was 54 pages long. This is not exaggerating. A lease agreement was 54 pages long.
I can't
So-
even imagine reading it.
Don't
Let alone signing
don't
it.
choose to rent and make the wrong decision because you think it's easier, because there's nothing easier about it.
You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show. We have Don Geisler, our designated broker and the owner of Indie Realty. You're here with Ray Smith, Sandra Johnson, and Danielle Johnson. We're glad you're here. Sorry, we hope to see you on the other side. Dan's going to say something to me about that. I just had to say it. Come in here and laugh about it. So we're going to break, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk more with Don Geisler. Hey, we're back. So if you're looking to buy or sell your home, or if you have any questions concerning real estate, call the Johnson Smith team at 520-850-1725 is Sandra. 520-904-7711 is Raymond. And 520-373-6864 is Danielle. On the show today, we have Don Geisler, who is the CEO of Indie Realty. He's also a designated broker.
So, we were talking a little bit about how if you had bought a home in January of 2023, it would have appreciated a certain amount by the end of 2023. So, looking at the home prices have risen and kind of drastically over the last few years, if you look compared to what is more normal, I suppose. What are we looking at as far as what we're anticipating for housing prices this year?
Well, I think there's a couple facets to that. And the first one, and this is an article that I read this morning, experts, this particular article said that experts are expecting price increases to moderate. And so my interpretation of that, and I think very, very much what we're seeing, and we can see it when we pull MLS statistics, we can see it graphically very, very easily, that these wild increases are behind us. Which is not a bad thing. There's goods and bads to everything, but it looks like we are headed back toward a normal rate of appreciation in housing. And so a normal rate of appreciation is anywhere from 3 to 5% per year. That's what's considered normal. So when we were subject to some of these run-ups because of crazy demand,
Right.
They might go up 5% a month because you got a house under contract in 2 days. And so when you listed the neighbor's house you listed it at 5 or 10% more
Right.
than that one. I mean, and that just led to, crazy increases, and there was still demand. So
Well, every house where someone had to go into a bidding war and they were paying 10% over now became the new comp
yep.
for the next house going forward. And if that was a bidding war, it just was really an unrealistic increase in value.
Yeah, it's a pretty vicious cycle. And so we're looking at hopefully a normalized appreciation, which is at real steady, slow and steady standard, 3 to 5% per year. That's what makes sense. Everything is very, very localized. There are always going to be anomalies and differences, from what we expect in different locations, different neighborhoods, different houses. But I think the other facet to it is that experts are not predicting any kind of giant, quote unquote, bubble bursting. And so, again, with folks that may be on the fence waiting for that to happen, I don't know what's driving that thought process. I mean, it's legitimate to say, I'm going to sit and see if prices come down. Right. But if you're sitting there waiting for some catastrophic, dramatic crash, and experts are not predicting that is going to be the case. So, you're better off making your move now, while we know what we have in front of us today, and then, adjust going forward.
Well, and we do know there's some programs out there too to help people that may feel like they've gotten left behind because they didn't move fast enough. And especially for first-time home buyers, I saw that some of the Lighthouse funds have come available. Not necessarily the refunding that we were looking for in January, but possibly contracts that have not closed, and so that money has gone back into the pool. So we know that there's funds available there, and we also know that there are some other programs that are helping with down payment assistance. And so really the amount of funds you would need to close on a house may not be that much different than if you were signing a new lease and had to come up with the money to go into a rental. So it just makes sense to at least compare and see what your options are.
I was just listening to what Don said about catastrophic things happening. Do you remember when catastrophic things happened 2 years ago? It was called COVID.
Yeah.
And as soon as COVID hit, everybody was in the market. And when everybody's in the market, things change, and they've changed. They don't change for the best of everybody because we had price increase, and they increased exponentially. So the best time to get in the market is when things are calm and things are normal, is when you are getting there and you're getting the best deal at the best time for the best pricing because it's at a normal pace. A catastrophic thing, everybody's coming in the market, and everybody's coming looking for the same thing. And now you're competing against people who would not have been competing against a long time ago or earlier.
There's a lot to be said for a quote unquote normal market, which is something that we sort of haven't seen for quite a while in Southern Arizona. But there is a lot to be said for it, and it benefits buyers, in that they can take a little bit more time. It's not such a frenetic pace.
Yes.
You don't have to feel like you have to do something before you've completely made a decision. And that benefits everybody, because sellers are frustrated, just the same when the deals fall through, because the buyer decides that they acted too quickly or whatever, goes along with that. And, with what Sandra was saying regarding down payment assistance programs, and I think one of the biggest myths that exist in real estate in our country is the amount of money that is needed to purchase a home, the amount of liquid cash at a given time. And, a lot of people still believe that you need 20% down. And that's not true. I mean, you can put 20% down and you might be able to get better terms if you can put 20% down. But we have everything from 0 down to 20% down, and it's not unlimited what you can put down. But we can get you in houses with 0 down in a lot of cases, not all cases. And we can get, one of the things that sellers have been doing, have been utilizing some of that excess equity and giving concessions so that buyers can, move into houses. And so that has even eliminated closing costs, obstacles and stuff like that. So there are a lot of programs out there. And if anybody is sitting on the fence or thinking they're not moving because they are afraid
Mhm.
of how much liquid cash would be required, get with us. And you guys heard the phone numbers from the Johnson Smith team here at the front of the segment. If you didn't write them down, make sure you get them on the next go around because this is a great team right here, and we can answer those questions for you.
And I think a lot of times people hesitate to call because they don't want to waste our time. And what they need to understand is that this is what we do because we love being in this industry. We love helping people move into their home. Sometimes it's a sell that changes someone's life, and sometimes it's a buy. And we just want to be part of that process. And it is never a waste of our time to have a conversation.
Absolutely not.
It's just part of the process.
We want to thank you for staying with us. We got one more segment back with Don Geisler, the CEO and designated broker for Indy Realty. Hi, you're back with Don, Ray, Sandra, and Danielle on the I Am Real Estate Show. Thought we talk about this is 2024. We thought we'd talk about financial goals. And if you've heard our show, there's one thing that Danielle always wants to remind you what you can do. So how we can help you, Danielle. So how can we help them?
So that would be that we can provide you a free home valuation. So if you are looking at 2024 and, a lot of times we're kind of looking at it as a reset financially, maybe making a budget, looking at what some goals might be for the end of the year.
Going on a diet. I mean, everybody has their own.
There's some kind of goal, there's some kind of plan that you have for the new year. And we talk about a diet as a good example. If you go into the new year saying that you're going on a diet and you have no accountability, you have no one to ask questions
plan.
to, no plan, you're probably going to make it all of 3-4 days, and then something happens and you get derailed kind of easily. And so especially with financial goals are really important, and looking at what you want to see in your own life and your finances at the end of 2024. If you own a home, you really should know what it's worth. And if you don't know, here's a really good opportunity to call the Johnson Smith team and get a free home valuation. And if you don't own a home, it's a really good opportunity to kind of look at where you're at and assess your own financial situation and goals. And maybe you say, you know what, I want to buy a home, but I'm not ready. I don't know what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do it by the end of 2024. It doesn't mean it's too early to call us. You can still give us a call and we'll sit down with you and we'll talk to you and answer those questions. I just saw someone asking a question the other day about wanting to list her home. And she has questions about, if I list my home, where am I going to live while it's on the market? And, do I have to move out first or can I list it first? Those kinds of questions, those are great questions. And if you want to know the answer, you got to ask someone who is in the industry. And so, any of those questions that come up about listing, about buying, just general market questions, give us a call. And that's what we're here for. We'll help you out.
Danielle, don't you think that sometimes a lot of people think that they have to go through this alone, and they don't realize there's so many people, not so many people, the best people out there or in Indy Realty who can help them go through this process?
And, they think that they have to have everything together.
Yes.
And, once they're ready, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. And so that's the moment I'm going to talk to someone. But that's not how it works. It's all about us helping you in your home ownership goals, whatever they may be, helping you sometimes figure out what those goals might be and working through that process so that you have the information that you need, so that you have everything laid out and so that you can have a successful meet your goals, have a successful run at this. And we're here because we want to see other people achieve those goals and live their best life. And, we're really here for all of you. We're here to make sure that everyone has a resource that they can go to and that they have people they can trust that'll help them get there.
Don and Sandra, I was thinking about that, and I wrote something down here is that I've noticed that people are coming in, they're afraid to go into the market. I think they're really afraid to go into the market. I think what we provide them is confidence of coming into market and what you don't have to be afraid of. One thing about they're afraid of the unknown. But if you come and deal with us and talk to the Johnson Smith team or come to the Indy Realty office and we give you all the known, then you're not afraid anymore. You're more confident. Would you see that's the best way to help people get back into the market?
I think so. I think the more they remember they used to have that commercial knowledge is power, right? Knowing gives you the tools that you need to move forward. And we're here to walk you through that process. And when, as we're talking about financial goals, a lot of those goals may be in the field of real estate as far as a profession. And you've been doing a lot of goal setting with the agents in our office as well.
I relentlessly I sit down with every single agent. I mean, I have a structure that I think works for us. And, we work really hard we work really hard to stand out, from other real estate companies, from other real estate leaders. We want our agents to stand out. And, statistically speaking, 80% of real estate agents across the country don't business plan. And, I think that it's really, really important. I think it's one of the things that move the needle. And I think one of the things that makes us different is that our leadership team has committed to great coaching and great support. And there's a lot that goes into that. And actually knowing how to coach an agent to the activities that actually move the needle and provide some accountability, it's a skill that is kind of scarce out there. So, we take a lot of pride. Agents that join Indy Realty, we sit down, we do extensive goal setting, business building, and actually teach them what it takes to grow a thriving business. And it's always super gratifying for me because we have had people come on board at Indy Realty, and I have had experienced agents sit down and do that first session with me, which is about an hour and a half, and they have literally looked at me and said, "Hey, Don, I have learned more in the last hour and a half than anybody has taken the time to teach me in X number of years in real estate." And we take that very, very seriously. So at Indy Realty, we are hiring real estate professionals, and we are equipped to take experienced agents that want to take their business to the next level and help them take it to the next level. We are also very well equipped to take brand new agents, people that are just jumping into the field and getting you going in the right direction and making you successful. And we have those success stories behind us already, and we're really proud of it. So by all means, if you're interested in a career at Indy Realty, please call me, 520-869-2376. I'm Don Geisler. I'm the designated broker and CEO, and we would love to have a conversation with you.
I bet you'd even throw in a cup of coffee.
I would probably let people use our nifty coffee maker that everybody loves so much in the office.
And where's the office at, Don? So
we are at 7255 East Tancaverde Road. It's right across the street from Udall Park. We're just in a really great location, we're very, very proud of our office. It is a location that, as a real estate professional, we feel like you can be proud of. We love when people come in for the sales meetings and we introduce people, and we have so much energy and so much positivity going on in there. And we feel like we have a location that you can very much be proud of when you have clients and you need to have a meeting, and we've got the space and the conference rooms. And we certainly have all of the bells and whistles. And we're proud of that, and we can talk bells and whistles anytime. But we have something that literally nobody else in the world, yes, I said that, has. And that is our Indy Realty culture. And I think our atmosphere and our culture is an amazing thing. It is super supportive. We honestly don't think that there is an environment like it out there.
I would like to bring up something and see if you can answer this. I'm a guy. I don't have my license anymore, but I'm thinking, maybe I don't really want to do 100% of going in and doing 100% of the work of the license for the realtor. What do you recommend for somebody like that to come on into the Indy Realty company or an Indy Realty family?
I think those folks should still absolutely come and talk to us and be a part of the Indy Realty family, because if you are a licensed professional but you are considering not actually actively working in the business anymore, you can partner up with our great agents and have that continuous income stream going on and still service your clients. And the best part of that is, as whether you're getting out of the business or you're retiring or you're relocating or whatever it is, that your network of people that trust you, that you will be having them work with somebody that they can still trust, that you
Mhm.
can still trust, and they will still get that fantastic experience.
I think that's one of the important things. You know, we try to refer agents when our clients are moving out of the area, and you take some time to interview and make sure that you're handing off your family, your friends to someone who's going to really care for them. And the worst thing would be to hand off a client and they have a horrible experience.
And I'll say we've had that a couple of times. We had a couple of people saying that they've had some people, they had friends that were agents and they used them because they were their family, and they had to fire them.
Yeah,
don't know if you
nobody
can
wants
say
to
it
have
online.
nobody wants to fire a family member. It's not good for Christmas dinners
So come to us.
and the holidays. Oh, I think one of my toughest transactions. I was thinking about it today because there are always those moments when you think this could be the one that takes me out, right? And somebody used their next door neighbor to represent them, but the neighbor had an encroachment on their property and they were encroaching on the neighbor's property. And I just thought, there's no way you can remove yourself from that if you're the one that's encroaching. And I felt like my clients had to meet a standard of like, am I going to like you as a neighbor? And it's so uncomfortable. So yeah, you definitely want to kind of get outside of that, to being too close.
Mhm.
And find someone who can represent you in a great way. And I can't think of a better company than Indie Realty. There's a reason that we choose to work there. There's a reason that that we pursued the opportunity to work there, and we've never looked back. So thank you, Don, for the opportunities that you've given so many agents and the care that you extend to all of us. And I know if I have a question and I text you or I call you, that I'm going to get an answer.
And you're going to
We're
get the
always there.
designated broker. You're not going to get someone else. You'll get the designated broker.
Yeah, so we're excited about 2024. We're glad that we are facing this year under Indie Realty. And again, we just appreciate the opportunities that you provide to all of the agents in the office.
Appreciate being here.
We want to thank Don Geisler, the owner and CEO of Indie Realty. He's also a designated broker, for being with us today. The Johnson Smith team is your resource for all things real estate.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Pioneer Title Agency, Indie Realty, Inspired Life Mortgage, Rio Pest Prevention, and Power Solar. And if you use one of our sponsors, tell them you heard about them on the I Am Real Estate Show. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you next week.